Very unique property. Water wheel with a large creek, a pond, a dog trot house, pasture. Stay tuned. Hey everyone, it's Chad Kim, your Alabama land agent, and we have two properties available here. It's a farm that's being divided into two tracts. They each will be 49 acres. They also will each have different unique features as well. So part one of this video is actually going to be of the Dogtrot Farm, and the last part is going to be of the pond part of the property. And each tract will have creek frontage on Shoal Creek. Also be sure to click the description down below. If you look down below, you'll find a description of the properties as well as links to each tract. So be sure to find that, and I think you're going to enjoy this property. And if it's something of your interest, you may want to act quickly, because this is a unique part of Shoal Creek and Asheville that properties like this just don't come available that often. This property is located in Ashville, Alabama, on Shoal Creek Road. It's east of Birmingham. It's near Neely Henry Lake. It's 2 hours from Atlanta, Georgia. It is 2 hours from Chattanooga, Tennessee, as well as Huntsville and Montgomery. And it's just only 1 hour from Birmingham, Alabama. And you're only about 40 minutes away from Oxford and Anniston, and really just a 30-minute drive to Gadsden. We'll talk about that more in just a moment, but be sure to like, share, and subscribe. We are always showing properties on video, and this may not be for you, but it might be for somebody else. But it's 49 acres, so is the tract 2 that you will see later in the video, so stay tuned. Later in the video, we have another part of this farm. It's about 100 acres nearly, but we're selling it in two tracts. And this tract just so happens has a dog trot home that we're calling the dog trot property. And it's a really unique situation. You don't see many of these homes with dog trots at all. We do have one in Asheville, but it's a different type of construction. It's with a log home, and it was built in the 1800s. Now, I don't know the age of this home here, but it's definitely not the same materials, but it is somewhat similar to the same concept. As you notice, there's a lot of gourds stored in this older home. The owner of the property used to raise gourds, and you would use gourds for birdhouses, for martin birds. You probably have seen them on the T-posts way up high that are in line. There's probably about 5 or 6 on each side. That's what he would grow and give to people to make those nests for the martins birds. So, and the broker of our company, he's gotten several from him, and they were good friends too. But this is just a so unique piece of property. Hopefully, whoever buys this property will really appreciate this older home and preserve it, maybe actually even improve it, do some things to it. This is that John Looney House, which is about 10 minutes away from this property, and you can see that it was a log home. And this is somewhat similar to a concept of that, which is kind of unique too. It's a lot of character. It's a lot of character on this property. One thing to know is what I call multi-generational living. There's multiple home sites you can build a house on this property. Maybe you're someone from somewhere else and you're thinking about coming to Alabama and you're going to bring the whole family. Well, you could put a lot of homes on this property. You know, you could probably put 3 or 4 homes at various places, and each one have their own spot. Now, one thing to know, these properties are going to go quick. So you saw the number, give me a call to come view. It will go quick. Not many properties like this come available. You have this older barn on the property. It is somewhat usable. You may want to just tear it down. You might could even save the material and use it for your house, because it's kind of some good lumber to it too. But maybe it's something you'd want to preserve. Again, you're only 5 to 10 minutes from the boat ramp on Neely Henry Lake, which is 11,000 acre lake. That's the good thing. You can come enjoy the farm, but you can also enjoy the lake as well. 30 minutes to hospitals, in Gadsden and shopping. There's a Publix there in Rainbow City. You do have a Publix in Pell City, which is south of here, which is about 25-30 minutes as well. You're probably middle point. If I was living here, I'd probably just go to Rainbow City. Be less traffic, and it'd be a very pretty drive as well. But as we're coming in, as you notice, we're driving down in the center of the property. We're coming over to this field, and this is a beautiful home site here. You can see that barn in the distance you just saw earlier. Barns to our left. We're kind of coming across where that fencing is, looking back towards the side road. It's on the other side of the property, but just a very usable property. Be perfect. Wouldn't take but a little additional fencing, of mending some fencing too, that you could put your cows out here and let them run. It did have cows on it about a year ago or so. We just recently had the property bush hogged, and now it looks like this. And there's more bush hogging that needs to be done. It's just for this time of year you can't get to it all. But there's another potential pond site just below there, in the direction that we're looking. We're kind of panning over this right now, kind of looking. We were just over here to the left, kind of coming across. Back to the right, you can see a house that's in the distance there. That's not on the property, but more to the right in the back, there is a location that you could potentially maybe have a pond on this property. The other property's got a pond, but this one does not, but it has the house, and it has the best part of the creek, in my opinion. And you're going to see that in just a few moments. But we're kind of heading that way. We're kind of, you got this front field, a middle field on this property, and there's just a little bit of the middle field, and we're coming to that now. We're leaving that property. We're coming down that fence line. We're crossing this area. To the left could be potentially that pond. A little bit of this field, most of this field on this that you're seeing here, to the right of this, what you're seeing, is going to be on tract number 2. And then we come into this 4-acre field. Now, the best part of this back field is on this tract. The other side of the property doesn't have so much between the hill that it's got and the creek. So this has the large, wide open part that would make a huge 4-acre green field for turkey and deer that you could hunt. And then you have the creek that we're going to come to in just a moment. Lots of deer rubs to the left there as we're coming through. Saw multiple, and we're just getting there a little closer, and we're coming to Shoal Creek. What a beautiful creek this property has. This is the best section through Shoal Creek Valley on the creek. This side of the properties, tract 1, has the best part, in my opinion, of the creek for many reasons. It's gorgeous. You have your pebbled rock bottoms to it. You do have this paddle wheel that you could run. You could set it up to have a generator or like an alternator to kind of generate your power. But it's being used with a pump. He would pump water out of this creek to the fields. Now I don't know where it's going to run. You probably would want to have it already done to work for you. And he kind of built like a weir, almost an Indian weir that would channel fish when they're fishing. But he kind of built this up a little bit to catch that water, where it would run around to the paddle wheel and then come out. It doesn't obstruct it. It just helps create this paddle wheel motion for here. But it's all here. You got this nice concrete footing there that you can see, and you got the block, this concrete wall, and you got the structure. It's here. It's just waiting for somebody to open it back up and run it. Just a really neat concept. The guy that owned this property was very engineer minded. He actually built one for Mr. Lovejoy on his farm. We're up the creek from here, not too far away, but you can just see how this would just go around and around and around, and it would spin this adapter and would use this pump to pump the water out. But give me a call. We'd be happy to show you this property. You don't want to miss this opportunity. Be sure to click the link down below to get more information. And we're headed to part 2. Stay tuned. Tract 2 has pond, pasture, and it's located on the creek too. It's got this 1-acre pond on the property. Good fishing lake. Some of the largest mussels that I've seen that's in the water yet for a pond. But again, be sure to like, share, and subscribe if you know anyone looking, or if you're looking, you want to follow me. Do that, and that way you stay up to date. Now these tracts are going to go extremely quick, So if you have an interest, you're going to want to contact me at that number you've seen previously in the first part as well as this part. And there's the number to reach me at. Now, multiple home sites, definitely, again, multi-generational living. If you have multi-families that are looking to go in together, there are multiple home sites that you could have here. I think there's probably more on tract 1 than here because the way that some of this does lay, but definitely you have at least 2 to 3 places that would give each tract a lot of space to it. Again, this is, I don't know how deep this pond is, but it's definitely significant because enough that it doesn't get a lot of light penetration because there's not as much grass on this deeper end as it is on the other side. This area here, again, we talked about how he liked to engineer things and he would come up with ideas. Well, he actually would raise goldfish there. Now, this is another site here. It kind of puts you a little close right in here to that other house. It's behind the Greensport Community Center there in Shoal Creek, and it's but that's a great area to build a house too. This is the lower part as we're kind of getting more on the flat ground of the property. Great pasture land, be perfect to finish fencing off for cattle or for horses. The tree that you're seeing straight ahead, there's an old well there. We're going to see this in just a second here. This is that field earlier we talked about. You don't have as much on the other tract as you do on this tract. And there's the well there that could possibly be utilized. I haven't seen it. It's been capped off there. It just had to be uncapped. And as we're making our way towards the creek, there's 2 hills. Now, this rises up and there's a little valley that drops down. It rises up and goes in between and goes down to the creek. And there's like 2 little mounds there, basically, of hills. And we're just kind of going in that direction, or this one we're fixing to cut across and kind of go in front of this here, and we'll point that out. And there's that same pine tree that you just saw, and you can see how that's coming down on the left side of the screen, and there's a valley there that goes down, and then it goes back. There's another little hill that kind of goes back up there, but back behind there is it is an area that you could plant a green field if you didn't want it to have here, but there's areas along that between the creek and these hills that you could actually make useful to make that an area that you could actually put a green field. Actually, you could put a cabin on top if you wanted to do that back there and have this view. That's the great thing about this. This side gives you the closest view of the creek without being on flat ground. So if you did think about building a pavilion looking down over the creek that you didn't have to worry about the creek flooding, this is the track on this side that gives you that opportunity. Isn't that gorgeous? The sandy banks there, and you own more property across the creek. You own more property on the other side, on the other track across the creek too. So very huntable areas. Again, neighboring property owners have killed some really nice deer. Again, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. We're headed back towards Greensport Baptist Church. As you just saw, this is the other barn, and this barn goes with the property. Now, I will say the property line is going to come close when we divide this up against that barn. It's going to be very, very close to it. How close, I don't know. We don't have it surveyed yet. But very unique, usable barn. As you can see, you probably would want to do your own thing because it's today's standards as far as storage. It's not going to be really that usable, but give us a call. We'd be glad to show it to you. And again, as always, thanks for watching.